I'll teach you everything you need to know about generic for loops in 5 minutes. Generic for loops are a way of iterating through tables. That just means going through all of the items in it. Why would you want to do this? Maybe you want to look for the highest value in there. Maybe you have a list of every player and you want to give them all an item or something. Could be a lot of reasons. So let me just show you how to go about doing that. Let's say we want to look at every disaster in our table. You do for I, v in pairs, and then you give it the table, in this case disasters, because that's what we want to go through, and then do, and yeah, you start the loop with for, and then these two variables, they can be whatever you want, but I and v are the most common things you'll see, and that's for a reason, because I stands for index and v stands for value. What is index? Index is the number of the position of the item. So this loop is going to go through every item on this list. It's going to start at tornado, then go to hurricane, then go to cyclone. When it starts off at tornado, the index is 1 and the value is tornado because that's actually what is put in the first slot. When we get to here, can you figure out the index and the value? The index is 2 because it's the second thing in the table, and the value is hurricane. And then you just write in pairs because you have to. And disasters is the table we're dealing with. Let me print out I and V so you can see what this loop is doing. The loop is going through a table. First, I is worth 1, then tornado. Then the second time it loops around from the start, the I is 2 and the V is hurricane, 3 and cyclone, 4 and typhoon. Then at the end, the I is 5 and the value is wind. There are some methods that actually return tables. So let's say you want to look through all of the children of workspace. There is a method that gets all of the children and puts them in a table so that you can put table in the for loop and then look at all of the items that are inside a workspace. That method is getChildren. It returns a table so we can look through it using a for loop. Let me show you. First object in that table is the camera, then the base plate, then terrain, then a script. So if anything returns a table, you can look through it using a generic for loop by putting it in the parentheses after the pairs. From here, you can do whatever you want. Like V, in this case, the value is the camera, and then the base plate and the terrain. You can do whatever you want. You can try to change the name to Eduardo of every child of workspace. You can manipulate whatever you want. Let's look. Yup, they're all named Eduardo except terrain. It's being difficult. Maybe you can even destroy it. I don't know why you're going to name it if you're just going to destroy it, but you can try destroying it. Good luck. And yeah, it destroyed as much as it could, but we cannot destroy terrain, so we got an error. The value is the actual object, so you can even change the properties of them. If you want to change like the position, make sure it's a part. You can do if v dot class name is equal to part to make sure it's a part, and if it is a part, then you can change the C frame because you know that won't give you an error because you know that if it is a part, it has a C frame.